I'm going to explain how to rig cross-eyed toggle, and I'm going to start with the most bare minimum on how to rig the eyes, just to make sure that we're on the same page. This is not going to break down everything about the S. This is just for the IXY and the open to make sure that I cover any potential pitfalls. I've also added these eye stars just so I can show a potential problem later on because I kind of need multiple layers to do that. So first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to make an eye star toggle. Okay, and I'm going to rig these bad boys to the eye star toggle, and now the eye stars are off. Okay, all I've got in here is the eye stars. I've got the pupils, I've got the eye whites, and I've got the lines, which personally I'm just doing as underfill, but that's because I'm addicted to underfill. I have the mouth. It's not a real mouth. It doesn't work, but it looked silly without a mouth, although I guess admittedly now it looks sillier. And then I put a base because white is boring, and I color everything the color of my model. All right. Um, So, I'm gonna start over here on IL, okay? Um, and I'm gonna rig the pupil to the eyeball XY. I'm gonna put the 3 dots there on the eyeball X. I'm gonna hold Shift, drag over to the side, okay? And then Shift, drag over to the side, return to center always. Y, Shift, drag down, and then Shift drag up, return to center. Okay, and then we're going to click on eyeball X and we're going to make sure we have our pupil selected, and we're going to go down to synthesize corners. Okay, and we're going to make sure this says X and Y. We're going to hit OK, and then if we link these, woo! And you might say, well, that's really bad because it's sticking out of the sides. Yes, all we're going to do is we're going to click on the ILY. We're going to do Control C. I always hit the C multiple times because Live2D is terrible and doesn't always pick it up. And then Control V over in the clipping ID for the pupil. Again, I hit the V multiple times. I just hold down Control and then V. If it's not there, I'll have to hit it multiple times. Hit Enter. And then look, it stays in here. Perfect, fantastic. All right. Then I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put the pupil into a warp deformer. Control Shift. I need the no. I need the pupil and the eye white. Control Shift W is not a normal keybind, but it's what I've bound warp deformers to. I highly recommend it. It saves time. Okay, so we're gonna take that. We're gonna have the star, the pupil, and the eye white. The star, actually, I forgot the star existed. We're gonna make sure the star is in its own warp deformer too, and we're gonna rig that just the same to the IXY. Okay, and then we're gonna synthesize those corners again. Neum, neum. Okay, and then we are also gonna take the eye white and put it here, and then it doesn't stick out. Fantastic. Okay, then we're gonna take this warp deformer that has inside it the IL pupil, IL white, and then the warp deformer of the star. We're gonna take that and the IL line. We're gonna rig both of those to IL open. Okay, and we're gonna go to the close form. And I'm holding down Alt while dragging this so that it drags them together. Okay, and then I'm going to go on just the warp deformer of the inner pieces. I'm going to go over here to IL open, and I'm going to add an additional point here at 0.1, and then I'm going to turn the opacity down to 0, at the 0 point so that they go away, and that's how I get this effect. Fantastic. And you might say, Void, that was so quick and dumb. Yes, it was, because these are ridiculous eyes. But again, it does not actually matter. This part is kind of irrelevant. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. All right, now I'm going to take the IL line and the warp deformer of the eyeball. I'm going to put them in a warp deformer together. So now we've got the whole left eyeball is all in one warp deformer. Okay. We're going to make sure all of our parameters are reset to default. And if you have a ton of deformers and you don't know, you can go over to here and click reset to default values. Now we know for a fact they're all at default. Clicking on the top level deformer, I'm going to hold down shift and then click on the lowest item in the eyeball list. So that'll be the star here. And it'll just select everything. We're going to control C, control V. Okay, and now I have a duplicate of all of those. Okay, and then I'm gonna use Control Shift R to reflect, but that is not a preset. And I'm gonna show you which one it is because there are a bunch of ones that say reflect. So if you go into File, keyboard shortcuts, or Control Alt Shift K, I can never remember all of those. So I always go over here. All right. And then it's going to be, hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. We can just type in reflect up here. So specifically the one in edit form, reflect. So it says edit form reflect. That's the one you want. You don't want any of the other reflects. That's not the one we want. We want the one edit form reflect. And I have it keyed as Control Shift R. Okay, so we're going to Control Shift R, and this window is going to pop up. And we don't want to reflect it vertically. I had that set from something else. We're going to want to reflect horizontally. And then we're going to want to reflect it along any horizontal movement. So that would be the eyeball X. Yes. Okay. Hit OK. And then, okay, now we have it over here and the eyeballs look together. Okay. And the star. And they do both close along the L, but we'll fix that real soon. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take all of these eyeball params right here. And I'm going to go into the parts list. I'm going to just turn off the folder that they're in. I don't typically delete them until the end, just in case I need them for whatever reason. All right, so now we've got this. And then we're going to go over and right click here, click select to find everything that's on the IL open. And then we're just gonna hold down control and click the ones that we don't want. So the ones on the left eye. So now we only have the ones on the right eye that are keyed to IL open. Then we're gonna right click here. We're gonna go over to the little arrow menu and we're gonna hit change and we're gonna change it to IR open. Okay, and now they'll move independently for the open close, but they'll move together for the XY, and the star toggle works together. Fantastic. Now that is the basic of what we're going to want for the eyeball movement. And now here comes the part where we create a toggle for making cross eyes. Okay, so first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to create a cross eye toggle. Okay. Range minimum 0, default 0, maximum 1, and we're going to hit OK. And then, and this is where it gets fun, we're going to unlink the eyeball X and Y, and we're going to select both of them by holding down Control, and we're going to replicate parameters, and then we're going to replicate the parameters again. And we're going to take these 4 new parameters, we're going to drag them over here, and you know what? We can even make a little cross-eye folder. okay? That way we can keep track of everything. Okay, and then we're gonna rename these parameters. All right, we're gonna edit this one. Okay, this is gonna say I X out 1. Okay, and then this one is gonna be I X out 2. Okay, this is I Y out 1. And then this is gonna be I Y out 2. Okay, and then I just personally, when I have XYs, I always like to keep them organized together. Okay, now that we've got that, we have to make sure all of these are blend shapes. You probably could have done it while you were renaming it, but I did not think of that. Okay, we're gonna make all of these blend shapes. And now we're gonna start keying things to the I, X, Y out 1 and 2. Okay, first we have to select all of the eyeball layers for both eyes on the X and Y. We're gonna right click on the eyeball X at the 0.0 over here, and then we're gonna go to the arrow and we're gonna hit select. Now that we're here, we're gonna go to the left hand keyform, Control Shift C, return to the center. Okay, then we're gonna go to IX out 1, hit those 3 dots, go to the left-hand keyform and Control-Shift-V. All we're going to be doing here is copy-pasting all the keyforms from eyeball XY onto IX out 1 and IY out 1. Okay, we're just going to copy-paste them directly onto there. Make sure that you are returning to center after every copy and after every paste. Or else you're going to run into issues. Okay, and now we should have the full movement for both of those. Okay, now what we're going to do is we have our regular movement, and now we're going to make the cross-eyed movement. Okay, so we're going to want to make sure that the eyes are going opposite directions from each other for the X out 2 and Y out 2. Okay, so we are going to go and do, we can probably just go ahead and take these keyforms to start with, and then we can just edit one eye. So copy paste again onto the out 2s. Okay, so now this one, they move together. And then all we're going to do is we're just going to pick one of them to go in the opposite direction. Okay, let's say we want to do the right eye. So just make sure you have all the layers on the right eye that are keyed to the XY selected. Okay, and then we're just going to switch which of these is which. So we're going to say, this is supposed to be up actually. All right, so we're going to return to center. We're gonna copy the up motion and we're gonna paste it on down, okay? And then we're gonna go copy our down motion and paste it to up. Okay, so now they're moving opposite ways here. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same thing for the X. We're just gonna reflect them. Now, the reflecting motion doesn't work properly on the you can't swap the keyforms without just copy pasting on the blend shapes, which is annoying, but this is, in my opinion, the easiest way to do a toggle like this. There are other ways to do it, but I think this is easier to understand, okay? So we'll take the move right, copy, and then paste. Okay, so now we got that, and then we want to take, the move left, copy, paste. Okay, so now, see, they're completely opposite movements. Now that we have that done, we're going to go to the eyeball X, the original eyeball X. We're going to select all the layers for that, and we're going to unkey them to the original eyeball XY. Okay, and this is the part where probably it might get a little bit annoying or tricky. We're gonna be doing blend shape weights, and then we are going to be doing physics outputs for these. Okay? So we're gonna with all of the layers selected and with IX out 1 selected, we're gonna go to this hamburger menu, and then we are going to go to limit settings for blend shape weights. We're gonna click on that. Okay, so we already have the blend shape IX out 1 turned on right here. And then we're going to select what parameter we want to weight it for, which is going to be our toggle. Okay, and then all we're going to do is we're going to tell this that we only want the IX out 1 to work when the toggle is off. So when cross I toggle is at 0, then this will be working. So what we're going to want is line 3. Okay, so we're just going to go here. We're going to click line 3. We're going to hit add. Okay, and what this means is that when this is turned on, when cross-eye toggle is at 1, then the IX out 1 will work 0%, so it won't work at all. Okay, then we're going to go and do that for IY out 1. We're going to do the same thing. Okay, cross-eye toggle. Go ahead, hit add, and then we're going to do the inverse. We're going to do the opposite for the out 2. So instead, we're going to go ahead and select line 2 here, and then cross-eye toggle again, add, and then IY out 2. Again, it'll still say line 2. Go to cross-eye toggle and add. And this means that it'll only work when the cross-eye toggle is turned on, and it won't work when the cross-eye toggle is off. All right. Now, we gotta go ahead and go into our physics settings because the eyeballs are gonna be physics outputs, okay? So we're gonna go into modeling, physics settings, and we are going to add a new group, okay? And we're gonna call this I out 1, okay? And then our inputs are going to be the eyeball, group editing. This is supposed to be IX out 1. There we go. So IX out 1, and then the input is going to be eyeball X. Okay. And the effectiveness here is going to be 100. And then I always like to I find setting the mins and maxes over here to 30 work best for me. You can just add a straight single pendulum here. That is the quickest and easiest way to do it, and have it as a position. But there are other ways to do that if you want to get fancy. Okay, then we're going to go into output settings. We're going to go IX out 1, click that. Okay, and then, yeah, that might even be a little bit too much. That might be way too much movement. You can set this to 30 duration and 0.85 shaking. We're going to reflect the eyeball X. There we go. Okay. And now we've got this movement. Fantastic. And then we're going to hit duplicate over here. We're going to call this IY out 1. We're just going to change the input to eyeball Y, change the output to IY out 1. And now we have our normal eyeball movements, okay? Normal eyeballs. Now we're going to go over to IX out 1 again. We're going to hit duplicate on that. We're going to call it IX out 2. And we're just going to change the output to the IX out 2. We're gonna go to IY out 1. We're gonna duplicate that and call that IY out 2. And now, oh, it looks like I didn't limit the blend shapes for IX out 2. Oh no, hold on, IY out 2. There we go. The blend shapes should, oh, it'll still show up as moving, but they shouldn't work. And then if we turn on the toggle, they go opposite. And then we turn off the toggle, they move correct. And then we turn on the toggle, they move opposite. Yeah, and that's it. That's the whole thing. Look at that silly little face. All right. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions.